Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. I'm your host, the crypto coach, Blockchain Wayne. Today we're joined by Albin. Albin is with XT. Albin, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, Wayne, for welcoming me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to this. Really want to get some insight from you. But before we talk about XT and what you guys are doing there, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so basically, I have a long story along the tech scene, let's say. I started actually dropping from school and started my first startup almost 15 years ago. And it was the very beginning of Web 2, build up social media platform at the beginning. And then after this, for a few years, I did my first exit, jumped into the creator economy, building a marketplace, connecting sellers and end user was really trendy at that time. And then keep moving on my way, build a third startup related to edtech, exit that one. And back in the days in 2017, actually, I was living in Asia. And I already started to hear, around me about Bitcoin because at that time, especially, I was in China and people were already, buying, selling, and a lot of story around me like, okay, I don't need to work anymore. I'm buying these things called Bitcoin. You should have a look about it. And so it was very interesting thing. And I started to look at it as an investor perspective. And a few years later, around 2020, I got my 2 feet inside. And this is how I really get into crypto, blockchain, and Web3. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you came in 2017. That peak being in the tech space. Had you heard about Bitcoin prior to 2017?
Not much actually. 2017, back in the days, as I said in China, was really the first time I heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I know, like myself, I jumped in 2016, but I'd heard about it in 2012, 2013, 2014, and always just kind of
Yeah.
dismissed it because like I don't know what is this crazy stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. And then now look at where we are today. One of the things that I'd like to ask too is what is your number one motivational quote? You've done a lot of startups, obviously that entrepreneur life. I'm sure you've been
Mm.
heavy into personal development. So what's your favorite motivational quote?
Yeah, well, my favorite quote, actually, I have a few, but I like this one that I guess come from a woman, Eleanor Roosevelt. And I think it influenced quite my life. So she used to say that the small minds, discuss about people, and the average minds discuss about facts, and actually the great minds discuss idea. And what I take from this is actually, like in life, you always need to keep learning, keep improving yourself. It's constant challenge. And
Right.
by discussing idea, just make yourself a better person. You have a better understanding about things, and hopefully also you can also make the world better by your impact and by your input. So yeah, I like that one.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I mean, ideas are really what drives the future. It's funny. Last night we were doing a workshop for business owners, teaching them Web3, and one of the speakers brought up he said what he's seeing in the career is in the past people were rewarded for productivity, and we're seeing
Mm.
that shift now because there's so many tools to help with productivity that now the big reward is for creativity more than productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So you jumped in. XT is a centralized exchange. Tell us a little bit more about XT. I mean, there's a lot of exchanges out there. Tell us what's unique that you guys bring with XT.
Yeah, actually, we've been in the space for quite a while. We started the exchange back in 2017, and originally as a very simple platform for allowing people to trade. And along the years, starting originally from Asia, we started also to want to explore more about the global market and, of course, launch new products and services. So today, we don't only have xt.com as the exchange, but we also offer a lot of products and services such as a launchpad, XT Starter, such as an NFT marketplace, XT NFT. We also developed our own blockchain, which is called XT Smart Chain. We explore also into the field of investments through our VC arm, which is called XT Labs. And we have also been experimenting some incubation program and actually today we are very proud to say that we have built this full ecosystem, and so we up to date have more than 6 million users. We are active and operate in more than 10 countries with offices and people. And we are proud to say that recently we reached top 20 ranking in terms of exchange. So it's a good progress we did in 5 years, but I believe it's only the beginning. So there is much more to do.
Absolutely. So obviously building, you say XT started in 2017. That was really the peak of the last bull market cycle. You became CEO in 2020. Was that correct?
A
Or
little bit
2021?
after that, a little bit after that, yeah.
Shortly after that. So basically, at the peak of another bull market. So rather than having that luxury of that height that leading up to a bull market, you guys have been building all of this whole ecosystem, which is great to hear about because I love to see when it's more than just an exchange. Launchpad sounds amazing. So many other things that you guys are doing. How would you describe your experience in building during the bear market? Obviously, you're putting all this infrastructure in, right? Market
Yeah,
conditions are going down in terms of price, right? So,
yeah.
what's your experience building during a bear market?
Well, I think, as you said, is not the first bear market we've been going through. So we know that the market, like every financial market, operates as a cycle. So we've been through bear market, we've been through bull market. Today we are more in the bear, and we learned that we need to focus when the hard times comes because we cannot be everywhere, and we really need to use smartly and our resource, I will say. So before, for example, last year's or in the bull, as I said, we grow the ecosystem. We tried also to do a lot of things. Some things worked, some things worked less. So we say, okay, today we need to focus on what made us to we are today, which is our core product, which is our platform right now. So we decided to focus on what we call the 3P, basically, which is keep improving the product on the exchange. Meaning, for example, we used to do mainly spot trading, but now we launch also the futures trading. Also improving the platform capacity in terms of engine, in terms of matching engine, in terms of speed, in terms of the capacity to allow a higher number of transactions simultaneously. Making sure that what you are building right now will be also very useful when the next bull comes. And third, we have been also paying very much attention to the last P, which is actually the people, and we've been growing a lot, building a huge team all around the world. And of course, we've been downsizing a little bit during the bear, but making sure that the people that we keep are the right one to make us prepare for the next wave. So yeah, focus is always the most important, but in the tough time, it's extremely important. Yeah.
Gotcha. What would you say are some of the unique challenges that arise in these bear market conditions? Obviously, you said you've had to downsize some. I mean, we have as well at FIO. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
you want to try to optimize your team, but what other challenges have you seen?
I think the biggest challenge, today is also an information war. And
Mm,
the rise of social media and the influence of the social media in the market and the impact in the industry is more important than ever. Because in the last bear, basically only I will say it was really a market for the people that were kind of initiated. But today we had a little bit more awareness, more public, a little bit of more mass adoption, which means that media attention, as you see, is growing towards crypto. So it's much easier to bash the market, to spread a lot of information. And today, all this information influence crypto price, influence regulations, influence project, influence the answer of the government towards this new technology. So it's been the most difficult part actually to deal with this information war, I think, from my perspective.
yeah, I mean that's very well said. You're right. There's so much. Those of us in the industry we call it FUD, right? There's a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's
Yeah,
spread by a lot of people, a lot of misinformation. When the market's going up, oh, it's everything's beautiful and lovely, and it's
yeah,
everybody's going to be rich. And when the market's crashing, it's oh, get out. It's you're going to lose all your money.
yeah,
So yeah, it's good to have that long term thinking. I'll give you an example. My experience in the 2018 bear market was coming off of that high of 2017. I was a
Mm,
big believer at that point in this space and where it was going. And 2018 market prices were crashing. So I decided to start hitting the event circuit and going to different events
mm,
just to see, okay, is this really real? And you know, you meet so many people, you hear the term or you hear the phrase, bear markets are for builders, and it's true, right? Because that's when you
yeah.
really double down. You put your infrastructure in place, you build products. That way, when these market cycles return, you're in a place to where you can capture that and bring in more users. Um, so, as your main business being a crypto exchange, obviously the other platforms are really cool. What are your primary challenges that you encounter just in the industry in general as an
Uh,
exchange?
Yeah, so as an exchange, as you know, recently, and for most of the exchange, they were the first to be hit by the regulation aspects. So I think we needed to play with the rules. So that's why also in the many countries where we started new offices, we also went through the process of, for example, acquiring a crypto license. So I'm seeing, for example, this year we acquired a crypto license in Middle East, in Dubai, with the MCC. We're in the process also to acquire further license. So I think that was the first main challenge, and also with the difficulty that everything can happen at any time. From one day to another, the regulator comes and say, "Okay, guys, you need to do it." So now we learn also to be proactive, not just responsive, but in the new country also where we want to enter, having the right approach. But as you know, I mean, crypto industry is also an industry for people that have this entrepreneurial mindset. So until now, we were more like in the spirit of like, okay, we are going, we are trying, we're doing something. But now we need to do everything, of course, playing with the regulation. So I think that's the main challenge we have been facing recently, actually, as a crypto exchange. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
and the
absolutely.
and I will say that also the second aspect that is super important, because this is just building the ground, but as a platform, our responsibility is to make sure also that the assets of the client are safe, that there is no problem. So this is also something we've been building actually, these security layers also for all over the years. And until now, we never had any problem so far with our user phone. So this is still our first also a priority when it comes to the user side actually. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, what happened in the last year has put a lot of scrutiny on exchanges
Yeah.
between, you know, FTX, Voyager, Celsius, um, and it's really bad actors. I constantly have to teach people that are not already into crypto that that wasn't a cryptocurrency problem. That was, you know, those were other issues. The problem is not with the cryptocurrency. So yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
trust is a big thing when it comes to when someone's using an exchange and they're holding their funds on an exchange. There's got to be a level of trust and security. So it's good to hear that you guys are focusing on that. And yeah, I mean, regulation in countries that are common sense regulation where you can operate, they realize it's not going to stifle innovation. Those are great to hear what's going on there, man. You know, where I live right now in the USA, it's kind of you know, it's funny. Like we grow up learning, this is the land of the free, right? But
Yeah.
there's so many gray areas here because the regulators here haven't been very friendly, and it seems like some bodies of government here are finally starting to recognize that. And so within, like, say, our Senate and our Congress, there's been a lot of scrutiny in the SEC regulations. So hopefully that'll come to where you guys are, you know, can even maybe one day expand your business into the U.S., right? That would be
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
thing. I love having you know, products that are great, and what you guys have built with the Launchpad, the NFT marketplace. Um, so talking about that, right? You know, we hear from people outside of crypto all the time. Obviously, during the bear market, they say crypto's dead. But obviously, many people think that NFTs were just a fad that have come and gone.
Mm.
But you guys have launched an NFT marketplace, so you obviously see the potential as well. I do as well. So what do you see in terms of the future potential? We'll talk about the whole market in general, but
Yeah.
obviously to launch an NFT marketplace, where do you see that one going, that space going?
Well, actually, it's true that for us at the beginning was more a trial because we saw a rising interest in terms of NFT. But if we talk about more the future of NFT, I think a very hot topic right now is related to real world assets and
Hmm.
tokenization basically of real world assets, which actually, if it's related to commodities, arts, real estate, for example, even bonds or whatever, can be turned today also into NFT. So we are talking here about not just a JPEG, not just a hype, but a concrete application that basically can talk to everybody. So everything can be tokenized and everything can become somehow an NFT as a form of ownership. So the real potential is coming here when the real concrete usage and application talks to Mr. and Miss Nobody, basically. Yeah. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great explanation, man. I'm teaching a lot of businesses now how they can utilize NFTs in their business. Most people think of NFTs non fungible, and those that are listening, NFT is a non fungible token. It's
Yeah.
different from a fungible token. So, like, whereas Bitcoin is fungible, if you send me one Bitcoin and I send you a different Bitcoin back, it doesn't matter. They all have the same value.
Yeah.
Non fungible gives you that unique identifier that it's only that thing. To where anytime you need a unique asset and ownership, NFTs will be that go-to technology. In fact, we may not even call it NFTs in the future, but most people think that have heard the NFT hype think of these cartoon JPEGs, cartoon profile pictures, and it's so much more than that. It's utility, it's
Yeah.
digital access, and in the future when we don't call it NFT as the underlying technology, so we're not going to call it that forever. It'll
Yeah.
be a digital access pass, digital token, a digital ticket to a concert, a digital tokenization of property, right? So the apartment or house that you own, that NFT is the deed or title to that property. I just see so many things coming from that, and also that mesh of physical and digital, like we mentioned with property.
Yeah.
Um, Man, I grew up a big sports fan, so sports collectible, sports memorabilia is
Yeah.
important. But when you have like autograph stuff, it's important to have a certificate of authenticity. But even
Yes.
that certificate can be counterfeited. But imagine an NFT that you can verify it was minted on the same day that it was signed. So it's verifiable that physical item you have, because you have the NFT certificate, that's your certificate of authenticity, man. So many things. I
Yeah.
went down the rabbit hole of NFTs in 2018. In fact, I did a podcast in 2018 on NFTs, and it was my worst listened to podcast of the year. And so much so that because nobody knew what NFTs were, and so much so that I deleted it because I was like, God, that was my worst one. It was killing my ratings. So I deleted it. I wish I would have kept it. Looking back, I was still early on in my podcasting days. But so much potential there. What about the future of the crypto space in general? Where do you see us in the next 1 to 2 years?
Well, it's always hard, of course, to predict the futures. But what I see somehow is that to build a successful industry, or let's say like ecosystem, you need a few layers. So let's start from the very basic. If we go back to the internet itself, and the revolution it was, basically we need first the common ground, the infrastructure layer, right, with today the blockchain as the main technology, and some a few emerging players that are able to also attract enough product application to build on top of it. And today, what we see is that there is still a war, right, between layer one, between layer two. There is no really one blockchain really like proposing a lot of concrete application and everything. The second aspect of this common ground is that to avoid to be a chaotic world, we also need, of course, the set of regulation, so a framework for people to work within. So this is actually what's happening right now. So once this first layer will be built, then the second layer is like we need people to access to the technology. So when we talk about the internet, the first easy access for people to use internet was, and to really interact with the internet was to have, for example, an email. So with this email, you could basically log in to a website, you could receive information, exchange with people. Today, when we compare to blockchain crypto technology, we're talking eventually about having a digital identity, a decentralized digital identity, right? Which is be for everybody a way to identify himself and to access to application. And of course, as also crypto is basically a first financial revolution, a wallet, let's say. So when are we going to reach the stage that most of the people, or the massive adoption for everybody, like have this in their pocket to basically start to use it? And the third layer will be concrete application with usage. So you just mentioned just now about the NFT, tokenizing real world assets as a digital certificate of ownership. But today we also see the hot topic around stablecoin, because stablecoin at the end remains also the basic as a financial revolution for crypto. People want to buy eventually and sell, and so stablecoin remain the basic application of that. So this is basically the three layers where we see that there will be evolution. But what I hope to see also is more professionalization in the field also, because we are also now in the stage that as a bit like in the internet bubble.com era, like a lot of things, maybe 99% of the project, they will not survive.
Hmm.
So once we will have more professionalism, more structure, more committed real people and project, not just like building to raise money and making exits or rug pull or whatever, then we will be able to talk about blockchain, crypto being a real proper industry, in the market. And when you look at the potential again of the real world asset, we are talking maybe of a market that in 2030 will be worth of like 15 or 20 trillion dollars. So it's really huge. And here there will be a real impact in people's life and a real concrete application about how blockchain really impact the economy, really impact through the technology people's life, or business as an activity. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having a conversation with a business owner the other day about the cryptocurrency space, and he said, "Man, there's so many scams." And I was like, "Yeah, there's going to be scams, right? There's going to be that. Just like, I mean, there's still stock market scams. There's still real estate scams. The
Indeed.
problem is when the use and utility far exceeds and overshadows all the scams. That's when you really get more towards user adoption. They're always going to
Yeah.
exist, right? People
Yeah.
people always scammers always prey on people's ignorance, but it's good to have that. But also the you touched on it earlier. I mean the usability of crypto, the tech is phenomenal, but having those layers of usability and user interfaces are what's important. Think about the internet adoption. It didn't really come about until the interfaces got easier to use and more user friendly. Most people don't care about a lot of the technology they're using that's behind the scenes, as long as they just want it to work. And I think
Yeah.
cryptocurrency and blockchain is the same way. That's why we tackled one of the biggest problems right now with people that are paying with crypto, sending and receiving, is those long wallet addresses. Right, you make one error and you send it to the wrong address. So being able to map your addresses to a FIO handle, and then when you send, so if I'm depositing to XT, I can send to Wayne at XT.com, and that is my handle. And if I type it wrong, it won't let me send it. If I type it right, it's going to send it. It won't send it on the wrong chain. It won't send it. I won't send it to the wrong chain address. I won't send it to the wrong. I won't send it to the wrong. Wrong address. Period. To where it's gone forever. And that's just our part of what we can do for that. But you got to have those interfaces to make it easy. And I don't know, I'm sure you feel the same way, to where the end user in the future is not going to know many cases what blockchain they're interacting with. Just that they've got a smart wallet, and when they're going to utilize crypto digital assets, it'll pay. They'll be able to pay or receive pay in the best asset available. And there'll be a lot more interoperability. So that's a lot of what we're focused on. I had the conversation with a game developer recently too, because gamers are wanting to use our handles for their games. Because that handle, the gamers that are going to be coming from the Web 2 space into Web 3 to play games that are based on blockchain, they're not going to care what blockchain they're playing on, whether they're playing on Wax or Solana or Polygon. But if they have to have a different username for every wallet attached to that, it's going to make it hard. But having one universal handle that matches that, so that's great. And what you guys have done, if you're listening to this and you're a user of XT's platform, you can go in and you can register a FIO handle and map it to a handful of the top cryptocurrencies in there. That way, when you go to deposit, it's super easy to send to. And so yeah, that's really. I think we've got to see better user interfaces. Think of AI. Have you guys been paying attention to what's happening in the AI space lately?
Yeah, of course, we've been paying attention for internal use, as
Yeah,
also as I mean, there was also these odd trends about all the AI coin and stuff like that. But this is more from the product, the platform perspective. But beside that, we're also thinking about how we could integrate more functionality for more like service, customer service. Even like before, we are thinking about training bot and stuff like that. But yeah, we keep an eye on it, of course.
yeah, cool. Yeah, same here. I mean, we use it for marketing, but as well, how can our end users use it? And the reason I draw that comparison into the crypto space, I think you're going to see a lot of relation. Obviously, AI is going to creep into every business, but when you look at adoption cycles, people are like, AI just bust onto the scene, and before you know it, ChatGPT had the most users ever in the first week of any platform, and it's because the technology has been being built for a long time, and
Yeah,
then when it was built, it has a simple, easy user interface that people can use. And
yeah,
crypto is the opposite. Crypto has been being built in the public, so people have seen the clunkiness, the hard to use,
indeed.
and so we're still moving towards that adoption cycle. So I tell everybody we've got to get to where we make it easier to use. When I'm onboarding a new user with a wallet, like a wallet that they control, and they've got to stop what they're doing to write down a seed phrase somewhere. It obviously it makes sense if you're sitting at your desk, but what if you're on the go? And so
Yeah,
having other technologies to make it easier, where I don't have to write down the seed phrase, and if I lose the seed phrase, it's gone forever. So those types of things are what we need to see in the space. And back to what we talked about with the cycles. Obviously, I don't like to talk much about price when I talk about cryptocurrency, but obviously people pay attention to price in the market. And you mentioned it earlier when you first started to answer the question. There's a lot of variables in what can happen in the next 1 to 2 years. But the one fixed thing, when you look at Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin still pretty much drives market prices overall. It's a
yes,
majority of the market share.
yeah.
And we've got a halving coming up next year, right, where the mining rewards get cut in half. Do you feel as well that that's going to have another significant impact on the market movements?
Yeah, I mean, it's also it's also of course our hope, and we believe too. We believe too. I mean, seriously, there've been a lot of tough time, recently. So sometimes we are thinking, okay, what can be worse that we've been through for the, let's say, the past 6, 7, 8 months. So uh, basically, we still remain bullish, of course, on BTC. As you say, is the main driver. When BTC goes, the altcoin follows.
Yeah,
So and we need BTC, and for sure, what's happening right now is the in US you probably see they're trying to launch ETF and stuff like that. I mean, there
yeah,
is a lot of interest for Bitcoin, so it's here to stay. It's here to stay, and as you know, the market is always operating in cycle, so there is no reason that normally I don't want to say the history repeats itself, but I mean, should be okay.
yeah. Very, very similar. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and when someone understands the laws of supply and demand and a scarce asset, so we understand. We all saw during COVID what happens when governments print a lot of money, right?
yeah,
When you generate a lot of money, inflation happens. Your purchasing power and overall value, intrinsic value, goes down. Whereas
yeah,
the opposite, when you have a scarce asset that becomes more and more scarce, more and more in demand. And for those that don't understand what the halving is, Bitcoin operates through proof of work. So every time a block is created, new Bitcoins are created that are paid out to miners that are securing the network. And that set amount is over the period of time is going to be 21 million total. And every 4 years it gets cut in half, that reward that's paid out every block. So you have even if you don't understand mining or how proof of work, just understand that the amount being released into the market becomes less and less. And what's happening? The demand is going up and up. So I tell people all the time, I'm not going to tell you a price prediction. I'm not going to say anything. I just know personally, when you look at the law of supply and demand, that there's more and more people wanting to use a scarce asset, and there's less and less available. what happens to it, right? We saw that happen. When more things are in demand, prices go up for them. You see that happen with concert tickets, right? Someone wants to go to a concert. If it's in high demand, if it's a concert that not many people are aware of, you can get a ticket for $30, $40, $50.
Yeah.
But if it's like here in the U.S. where a Taylor Swift concert, people are selling those tickets for like $10,000 a piece. It's all about the demand.
Yeah.
Cool. So you told us about some exciting developments at XT already with what you guys have launched. Any upcoming features that you can share with us? Anything that's coming soon that you can give us a sneak peek
Yeah,
about?
yeah. So as I was saying, we keep improving the product. Recently, we were working a lot on futures, and we launched what we call copy trading. So for those that don't really know what is copy trading, it allows you to reproduce, let's say, the moves of some famous or good traders, let's say. So we onboarding a lot of talented traders, and basically we allow users to follow their trades. So that's basically a big thing for us, because it goes along the particularity of XT, which is called also a social infused exchange. And then what do we mean by that is, like, from the very beginning, we pay special attention to our community. And we've been also working with some major application, social app, to allow what we call the a social trading function. So we have one very interesting partner, let's say in Asia, that allows. It's like you use Telegram, and within Telegram group you could trade together. So it's very exciting. It's very unique also. So when we talk about the community, we always think to move with XT in this way. So in the product we launch, in the functionalities, but also in the activity we do, we're also very active on the offline scene. So if you travel the world, if you go to events, you will most of the time see XT along these events with our team there. Always happy to welcome people. So this is something that we're trying to develop as a small exchange. We are not the biggest, but really empowering the power of the community. So yeah, copy trading is a big thing for us, and something we're gonna keep pushing from the product perspective. And then, as a part of other excitement project we do have, we also keep entering new markets, mainly Asia and also Middle East. Middle East is a very active market for us now, so we are also very bullish. It's a very unique place in the world, very friendly toward crypto, digital assets. So this is part of the plan for this year at least, and keep being focused. And well, that's it.
Awesome. I'd love to hear that, man. Copy trading is great. Coming from someone that in 2016 I jumped into trading. Right, trading looks easy to the
Yeah.
uneducated person. It's like, oh look, it's you buy here and sell here. It's simple. But once you actually get into it and you have those emotions, so having someone to copy, obviously everybody when you're trading or investing, you are 100% responsible for your decisions. Even the best traders don't always get it right. So you
Yeah.
can jump in and copy one trade, and that trader gets it wrong and they lose money. But it's all about your risk to reward, your management. Also, the bigger key is the biggest battle happens here is
Yeah.
when as a new trader, when the price is low, you want to panic and sell because you think it's going to keep going down and you're going to lose more money. And then when the price is high, you have that mental block where you don't want to sell it because you're like, oh, it's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and so yeah, trading, I tell people all the time, it's not for everybody. But it's all about skill. It's just like anything. A plumber didn't know how to fix plumbing, how to fix pipes and do all the things a plumber can do, or an electrician as well, until they were trained and they practiced over and over and over again. And people get into trading and they try to trade for a few days, and the
Yeah,
bad
and most
part
of
I
the time
find.
is the psychological aspect. Actually, you know the technique, but it's a fight against yourself, right?
Right, right. I tell you, man, some of the worst things I see that can happen. I tell this, the worst thing that can happen to a new trader is they get lucky early on and they make some really good
Yeah,
trades to where they make some
yeah,
profit, because then they get cocky and they're like, oh, this is easy. Anybody can do this. And then when the market starts to become more volatile, it really, it really hits them hard. So learning those lessons early on when you're not risking a lot of money is actually
Yeah.
better. It's better if you learn some of those lessons early before, rather than you jump in and you just happen to get lucky, make a few good trades, make some decent money. You're like, okay, let me go in bigger, and they go in bigger, and next thing it's gone. So
Yeah.
great to hear. Anywhere that offers copy trading, anybody listening, definitely, like I said, it's not going to be 100% win, but you get a chance, and then you start to see the patterns that those traders are jumping in and out of,
Yeah.
and what look at the chart when they're entering and exiting in a trade, and what do you see? Some of the similarities, some of the patterns, and that's really the best thing about copy trading is you get to see, and then in the future you can make better decisions because you understand, okay, when these certain indicators all line up, there's a better chance to potentially enter a trade, exit a trade. And so with futures, have you guys seen a lot of success with futures on the platform? I know that's what I hear a lot of traders are really looking for is futures trading.
Yeah, yeah. Then there is a lot of appetite, of course, for futures trading. So we see a growing interest, of course, and the thing with future, I will say, is that bear market or bull market, there is always future traders. So yeah, it still is very active. It's very active product, and we are growing our market share about futures. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So in general, one of the last questions I have for you is, how do you envision the future growth and success of the company? Like, where do you see XT going? Let's say 5 years from now, we're looking back. What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, well, actually, now in terms of numbers, a bit, we are top 20 exchange. We really want to be within top 10 for getting when the next bull happen. So it's really our ambition because we know that it's somehow it's always more painful and costly to try to fight during the bear, but it's even more during the bull. So we are here, we keep fighting, and if we can secure a top 10 position where the next bull runs, then that will be really wonderful for us. And if we start from there and we remain being like a top 10 exchange in the world, I mean, it's a fantastic thing, that starting a few years ago and being there, that would be great. So I think we are a small team. We are very committed. We are very human approach when we work with project, when we work with people, and because earlier you were talking about quote. I think there is also another quote that comes into my mind that never underestimate what a small group of committed people can do. So I believe eventually we are there, and so that's what we want actually. Improve our product, improve our platform, and improve our ranking, and that's what we want to do. Yeah.
Awesome. What advice would you give? Say someone's listening to this and they're just learning about cryptocurrency, or maybe they've been watching for a year or two, not really jumped in like many people do. What advice would you give to that new person that's thinking about getting involved, whether it's getting involved doing a little trading, investing, or a little mix of both?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, theory is always interesting, but being practical is always better because you need to learn, and you remember things when you learn by doing mistake or by success. So get registered on a platform. Try even with don't need to put a lot of money. Try, see how it works. Download a wallet and buy and sell. Like use a little bit of DeFi. Try to buy NFT. Get familiar with all the product about the ecosystem, because we talk about crypto. It seems very complicated at first, but when you start to really put your hands on, actually, it's not that complicated. So we all been through that at the very beginning, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely,
just try. Yeah, just do it.
absolutely,
Just do it.
absolutely. Just do it. The Nike slogan. Yeah,
Yeah,
and when I jumped into the space, or when I started podcasting in 2018. The whole point was to educate people because this is hard, and you've got to start. We need two things for adoption. We need people to be better educated on what this is, and then we need better user interfaces. So that's why
yeah,
I
yeah,
started putting my focus on building educational content for myself, and then eventually for different projects. And then FIO was that layer of making it easy. And we like to partner with platforms that are making it easy to bring onboard people into the space, like
yeah.
XT and others. So it's definitely important. Is there? Do you guys have an educational element besides? You mentioned
Yeah,
copy trading, but
we have the XT Academy, which is
nice.
actually a platform to educate people about crypto blockchain. So we publish contents, we release information to also try to educate more people about the space.
Awesome, and that's what's important when you think about it. Is exchanges. There's several exchanges or many exchanges that are out there, and if you're just getting maybe you're just getting new users because people are leaving Binance or people are leaving
Correct.
Kraken or other exchanges, you're still it's the same ecosystem. But if we want to grow adoption, we've got to teach more people about the space. So that's great to hear. So definitely, if you're listening to this, check out the XT Academy. I love it. I love it when I talk to projects because that have an educational program in there to where you can go in and learn a little bit because that's the key
Yeah.
is understanding. So definitely want to check that out. Albin, we're about to wrap up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any final words for our audience? Also, maybe let people know we talked a lot about XT, and I'll have the
Yeah.
links in the descriptions for this podcast
Sure.
wherever it's posted. But tell everybody, any final words, and also where can they find out more about XT?
Well, you can find more about XT on xt.com. It's a two letters website, so it's not complicated to remember. You
Super
can
easy.
also follow. You can also follow our socials. We are active on Twitter. We're active on LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel. And also, if you want to learn more about crypto, follow Blockchain Wayne. I mean,
Yeah.
follow Mr. Wayne. You know, he's also doing a great job. I really enjoyed the interview. I really enjoy your insight. You're doing great as well. So I think, as you say, educating people is the key. So we're very happy to share with you today and trying to inspire more people to get into crypto blockchain.
Absolutely. Awesome. So everybody listening, make sure to follow xt.com. You're definitely right about that. When I first heard about you guys, I was like, man, that's a great website name. It's super easy to remember, right? 2 letters,
Yeah, yeah,
xt.com. At FIA, we focus on making things easy to remember,
yes,
easy to use, and xt.com is super easy. And you guys have a lot of great things going on. I love to see that. Anytime I see companies that are building in bear markets, it continues to solidify my belief that we are on the right track. And what you
yeah.
said earlier, right? Small groups of people. I forgot exactly how you worded, but small groups of people can do great
Never,
things.
never
Under
underestimate what a small group of committed people can do.
Absolutely, and that's really every great innovation in the world has started with that a small group. Typically before you see the
Yeah,
masses come in, you eventually hit a tipping point where everybody just begins to come in because it's just makes sense. We saw that happen with the internet. We saw that happen with social media, cell phones, even right. The mobile phone.
correct,
I
correct.
remember the first mobile phone. I got my first mobile phone. It was in 1999, and walked in.
Yeah,
Somebody's like, "What's the point of that?" I was like, "Well, I can call somebody at their house, or they can call me when I'm on the go." And they're like, "Well, if they're not home, it still not doesn't work." And so there was a lot of skepticism around that. And where are we today? Everybody has one of these things. So I think that's what we're going
exactly.
to see with crypto. So Albin, thanks again, man. You guys are doing some great things in the cryptocurrency space. Look forward to talking again in the future. Possibly, even jumping
Pleasure.
on some Twitter Spaces together.
Yeah,
So
and
thank
hopefully
you.
meet you in real life. Yeah, in some
Yeah,
event.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Thank
hitting
you.
some events outside of the USA.
Yeah,
This year with the bear market, it's been only USA travel for me, but I'm looking forward to hitting some events in Europe and Asia.
sure.
Will XT have a presence at Token 2049?
Yeah, of course, we are there.
All
We have
right,
a booth,
all right,
so if you pass
all right.
by, everybody is welcome.
That's one that I'm looking at and considering. So trying to pull some magic to make that one happen.
That's great.
Awesome. All right, Albin.
Thank you
Thanks
so
again
much.
for joining
Yeah,
us, and
my
thank you
pleasure.
everybody for listening. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.